Welcome to Tribal Council. We have Christy and JP and myself here today to talk about 2 episodes of Survivor. They had 2 episodes last night, and it was probably, I would say, probably one of the hardest of all the. I mean, we're season 39, right? And this season had been so good up to a certain point. Well, last night, and anyway, I've talked about it last night on the podcast with Jay, Jack, and Colleen. We'll get your thoughts, and maybe people will join us in the chat, hopefully, and we can get their thoughts and go from there.
I honestly, I'll say this first of all. I just finished watching the episode probably about 5 minutes before we started recording this, and I am, I've seen on Twitter already. Arron's posted a video where he's apologizing for what happened last night. I know, me personally, I sometimes will make light of episodes being a very special episode.
Right.
I have no plans on doing that. I think this is, it's very serious. I don't want to come off like everybody else who's, troubled by this episode, but I'm, I don't know where I am right now. I'm going through a lot of emotions about this. That was a tough episode to watch.
Yeah, I mean, there were lots of getting really excited moments where you think, oh my gosh, and then you're like, oh, it was. So there was a lot of up and down. It was a roller coaster ride for sure. Having Kellee find 2 idols, you're just like, oh my God, that's it. I mean, there's no way she's in it.
Yeah, she's not going home no matter what.
No matter what, right? No. So yeah, that was upsetting. The whole idea that these women who are boldly lying to Janet and lying to Dan, and everyone's going to see it when they watch it at home, right? Or when they get to watch, they're all going to see it. Yeah. And Dan's there. I would feel horrible if I ever thought I'd ever made anyone. Dude, you're about to really feel horrible. Because
or maybe he doesn't.
Those women, okay. If I believe that they were legitimately creeped out by him, that's what I think. Because it's only that, or they're incredible gossips that they just wanted to have something to talk about every single day because they're so bored. And I don't want to think that. So it was disappointing to see them try and take this thing that you felt they were being super earnest and twist it around and turn it into some sort of element of the game that they could somehow get Janet to not do what was in her best. And it was just.
Because Janet was aligned with Dan.
Yeah, they're both original. No. They were originally different teams, were they not? I had it.
I thought they were on the same team. Either way, I know she was aligned with Dan.
Why? She doesn't seem to really have a problem with anyone.
No, and she said she didn't have a problem with Dan, and she didn't know. But when she found out there was issues, and the women came to her and said, she goes, okay, let's get them out.
And so she thinks, well, I'll do this thing because this is what's going to make them feel safe. This is what's going to make them feel better. And by goodness, we'll go for the greater good of these women as a whole over
right.
One guy that, is he really helping us? He's not, she liked him and everything, but it looked like the smart move to keep everyone happy.
Right. Well, I said last night, what should have happened is they all should have got together, voted Dan out, and just said, okay, now we'll start playing the game next week. We'll start playing the game after he's gone, because obviously it was affecting people. And it like I said, I know that came out today that Elizabeth and Missy said they exaggerated what happened. Okay, fine. But Kellee wasn't exaggerating.
No, she wasn't.
And I posted something on Rob Has a Podcast, and I usually don't go on other people's things and start something. But all they said was the producer should have removed Dan from the game. It's no different for me than punching someone. If you punch somebody, you're eliminated. And it wasn't because Kellee did come out and say, I think it was the first episode, hey, don't touch me. I don't feel comfortable with that.
Right.
And he continued to do it. So it wasn't like, and I've had people go, well, Dan was innocent. And I go, dude,
He's not listening to what they're saying.
Kellee said, don't touch me.
Right.
He continued to touch her. How is he innocent? And they don't ever answer it. And like I said, I don't want to start a war on there. It's not my show. So, but I felt I felt, to say it, and most people backed me up on it, but I thought he should have been, I thought the producers blew it. And I thought he should have been removed from the game just because it was one of those things where it's the first time in Survivor history where we see the producers, we actually hear from them, and then we don't see their face, but we see them because it was such a serious issue. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he's still in the game, and it may have ruined what was so going up to last night, a really good season.
I think as far as removing him from the game, I almost feel like, and I don't like saying this because obviously in the back of producers' minds, ratings, money, all that stuff, that's what's important to them. Yeah. So what I'm going to say is I almost feel like they're in the back of their minds, they're not truly going to pull a player from the game until he's right at that moment. And I know I'm not defending him. He did cross the line, in our opinion, absolutely. But I don't think there was enough there in their minds to say, okay, we got to pull him out. I can't think of how I want to say this. It's all we've seen Dan be playful in his mind. And I just don't think the producers are going to step in and say, okay, let's pull him out. Now, if he was, I'm trying to remember, there was a season, it was a very, very early on season where two people with Richard Hatch and Sue.
Oh, yeah.
Where he rubbed up against her and he was totally naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't compare one with the other and say which is worse. I can't.
Well, it seemed like in that confession we saw yesterday with Kellee, and they're asking her, and she started to break down, trying to explain what was making her feel. And, for lots of women, that can be a triggering moment where it's not only that moment, they're remembering other moments in their life where they felt unsafe, right? So it starts, or maybe a time when you felt unsafe and you really were unsafe. It can bring back a lot of feelings. So I think that if someone had said to them, yes, we want him out of the game, maybe then the producers were going to do it. But it was almost like they were waiting, or they were telling her, they were reassuring her, we're not going to let anything happen. We want you to feel okay. Are you okay? I mean, they were really, and we never hear the producer's voice.
Yeah, and they have to. And the other thing I was going to say is the producers do have to provide these contestants, whether they're doing a challenge, whether they're building fire, playing with sharp objects, they have to provide these contestants a level of safety.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Rivers in the water, everything. And that has to extend to the behavior between two people on the show. The show is responsible for something to happen. And if Dan were to take it to such an extreme, of course they got to jump in there and pull him out. I guess what I'm trying to say is I think maybe producers were a little bit wary as to whether or not there was enough to pull him out of the game. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what the contracts are that are in place.
Well, it said that they pulled him all out.
He's been pulled off the game. Yes, I think he should have, based on what we saw, and maybe based on what we didn't see.
You think they held stuff back? I think we saw it all. I think they made a chameleon.
I hope we did.
Yeah.
I absolutely hope we did.
I mean, they even put that little card in to tell us what had happened, that they pulled them all out. Yeah. They had a talk. Everybody knows this rule. We're going to talk about this. And then pulled Dan aside and spoke to him individually. And I don't know if it was obvious that he was the only one that got pulled aside individually. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they were doing it during confessionals or something like that. But it should be obvious to Dan as well that they talked to him. So when this conversation comes up and they're going, no, she's lying. Janet's just making this up, Dan. We never said that. Why would the producers talk to you about it if someone hadn't said something?
Exactly.
Well, even Janet goes, when she was talking to Dan and Dan's playing the victim role, I'm the victim, and which didn't come across great because we've seen it. Right. We know there has been issues with him and Kellee. I mean, there's no deny that that can't be erased. That can't be denied. We've seen it. So when Janet goes, look, I'm going to go talk to Missy and Elizabeth.
And he's like, no.
He goes, no, I'm going to go talk. And Elizabeth admits, yeah, she did say that. She goes, yeah, I said it. But then after she left, I only said it because.
Oh my gosh, that Elizabeth, she is an Olympic liar is what she is.
She was the one that really stirred the pot. And she did it for gameplay. And I said last night, I said, yeah, I've always wanted to be on the show and I would lie, steal, cheat, but there comes a point where there's a line. And if somebody is doing something they shouldn't be doing, I would hope I would do what Janet did.
Let me
say, okay, the hell with my game. I have to do what's right. And you've seen today with Arron, because Arron came across as a complete ass. I mean, what he was saying, and he apologized, and he had 2 videos where he was emotional, and he's, was he, you can take him at his word, but it's basically, what does he do from this point on? Does he act like Jamal, or does he keep acting like an arrogant ass? So that I think, because anyone can say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Missy released a statement that was, I really didn't. She was, kind of, I don't know. It was kind of weak, I thought, because again, she remained silent during this whole thing. Why Janet was, again, it wasn't just Kellee. Janet was being torn apart, basically called a liar, and she did the right thing.
She's a liar.
Yeah, and I was saying, I go, like you said, I think it was JP said, I go, what are these people going to do when they go home and, like Arron, and you see, okay, she wasn't lying.
Yeah.
I was a complete jerk, and there was no, and at this point, there's no reason for you even to say it. That this was gameplay. All I had to say is, yeah, I believe Janet did it for the right reasons. I believe Kellee. That's all I had to say, instead of being arrogant and saying, no, it was all for gamemanship. She's trying to get further in the game. I'm like going, man, you're gonna look awful stupid when this is played back.
Yeah. Well, I hope that this would be a big national moment for Arron, that he would go, that it would really shock him into opening his eyes and going, oh, wait, maybe I don't always know all the information when I speak.
Right.
Like,
yeah. He's an arrogant guy. He's cocky, but
use your power for good.
Again, does he learn from this?
Right.
That's the key. I don't think Dan learned anything. Dan was completely trying to turn it around on other people. And I think that was probably the worst part of the episode, where he was complaining. He said, "Are we going to keep talking about this, Jeff?" And Jeff finally said, "Yes, we are going to keep talking."
I thought he was going to stand up and quit. Honestly.
Yeah, I thought he should. If he had any class, he would have quit. But him saying, I don't know. It just really bothered me.
That's the part that bothers me, is I don't know what I did, but if I did something, I'm sorry. If you're laying on the ground playing with somebody's toes, you remember it.
Yeah.
He
was rubbing their leg. I mean, he was doing that's just not right. And like a lot of people, I've said before, I don't like to be touched. Right. I mean, it's just something I don't, it's just something unless I want you to touch me.
Right.
It's just so I live by that rule. I'm not touching you. You don't touch me. And we're all happy, especially after, again, she told him not to touch her.
Right.
And he continued to do it. And people saying, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, that's just who he is. And even Janet said, well, he's old school. I go, well, I'm old. And I was raised by strong parents, and, not that I haven't made mistakes in my life. I've done things I probably shouldn't have done. Well, I know I have. But anyway, but still, my mom was 5'4", and to this day I'm still afraid of her. I would not do anything like that to embarrass my parents.
Well, when she says he's old school, it's like there's being old school. And then there's simply when the person tells you straight to your face not to do that thing that you're doing, how do you not listen to that? That's not old school.
You're unaware.
He's completely unaware. Like him and Nora should literally be together.
Wearing blinders to what you're doing to people. And
well, even when he was explaining what he did, and it's tight quarters, when he grabbed Nora, that was inappropriate.
You saw her
inappropriate, and she was like, because he literally physically, it wasn't like
grabbed her arm, like,
and I'm like going, okay, that's wrong. And I think Jay said yesterday, or Colleen said, why has this never been an issue in tight quarters before, where people are grabbing and touching people? Well, now I said, if you don't have that reputation, and you go, excuse me, like this, okay,
right.
Well, when he touched Nora, you saw right away she made it was almost like a nervous giggle, and she kind of moved in a way. She was uncomfortable right there.
Yeah.
Just there. So
B Fit says Dan is an arrogant
prick.
There we go. I guess we'll say it. But and he is.
He deserves it.
But he's when he was saying, like, I think JP brought up his whole, I own a company. I've never been accused. Well, you said it. I own the company.
Right.
People, you saw on the show that people didn't come forward because they were more concerned about winning $1 million than doing the right thing in a company, which this has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. People don't want to lose their jobs, especially if they have a good paying job, because some guy's touching them that they should be touching. I mean, they shouldn't be put in that position, but I guarantee you he's touched people at his work that people have not liked, and it might start coming forward.
And I'll say this: if this situation affected people's gameplay, and I don't know what's going to happen next episode, I really hope that certain people are brought back and given a fair chance to play the game, and just the game of Survivor.
Right. I would like to see Jamal come back, Kellee come back. Janet obviously come back, and
regardless of how far she gets this game.
Yeah, he's like, they're all, and even at Tribal. Oh, Janet, we believe you. We believe. Well, she got votes. I mean, she didn't have to play her idol, but still, she got votes.
She didn't do
Kellee. Like we said, Kellee got voted out when it should have been 100% Dan.
And can we just say it right now? If you have two idols in your pocket, and you look over to the person sitting to your left, or I guess right, that was Lauren, by the way, and asks, are we good? Are we good? And that person says, yeah. If you have to ask that person if you're good, you better be playing your idol.
And Lauren didn't look at her. She looked real quick and then turned back. So I said, okay, play the idol. You have to.
I thought,
play your idol.
She's sensing it. She's sensing it because she's asking. Because if you were that confident not to play either idol, because you play one now, you still got another one. I don't understand what she was holding them back for.
I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. She seems. I saw her in Ponderosa. She seems okay with her decision. But it could have
got you though forever not playing it.
It would bug me.
Oh.
I don't think I'd. Again, too, you're at the merge, and I guess she just thought that the women were going to stay true to their word and vote Dan out. But still, I think you have two. If you only had one,
right? I
can say, okay, all right, maybe I. But when you got that second one, I'm like, okay, good, she's safe for tonight.
At a bare minimum, you're gonna even if you don't think you're a target, at a bare minimum, you're gonna advance probably 6 more days in the game.
Sure,
right.
A lot can change.
And
plus, you're getting someone who's not in your alliance. You're getting rid of Dan,
and they're definitely not going to think you have another one. Probably
right. Yeah, because how many people have two idols?
Exactly. Plus,
so,
she gave Dean that one. So
yeah,
probably like she gave me an idol. She got another one.
And Dean voted for her.
Yeah. Even though he needed her friend. Oh, love of his life.
Well, the problem is Survivor that you can't buy votes.
Sure.
You just can't. I mean, he's got to do what's best for him in the game. But again, I think at this point, it would have been nice to see people say, okay, we're going to do what we're going to do. Let's get rid of Dan and we'll start from scratch. because again, they were all talked to. They knew this was an issue.
Yeah.
But I think Elizabeth saying, "Oh, Janet's doing this and Kellee's doing this," and to advance her game, and I haven't seen her make any apology or anything like that.
She looks so wishy-washy because Dan goes and talks to her, and she just tells him whatever he wants to hear. Then he goes and tells Janet that she was such a coward. She couldn't stand by her light. She just fessed up with Janet too, and then said what she did. Dan, she was just flip-flopping all over.
Yeah.
And other people had to see that are going to go, maybe she is.
I don't understand why they were so. I think even if Dan got voted out, it still would have been 6-6, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been a clean. It wasn't like it was okay. Dan is the deciding vote. We got to keep Dan because
I could have even seen them voting for someone else. And okay, so let's say it's Kellee. They go back to camp, and Janet's upset and going, "What happened?" And they say to her, "Listen, Janet, we're sorry. The last minute we decided we needed to get rid of someone on your side before we get rid of Dan. But Dan is next. Don't you worry about it." That would at least make sense. They're trying to keep their numbers while also getting rid of Dan, right?
But instead, they let Janet go off by herself. She talks to Dan. Dan treats her like crap. And then she spends the night not even in the camp, and nobody comes to even talk to her.
Oh my gosh! And when they come walking by because they're going to find an idol, and she's like.
Missy and Arron, they go, "Oh, hey."
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They did not see her at all until she said hello.
Yeah. And I go, okay, here's Janet again, but they think she was just playing the game. And again, we saw it. And again, we're obviously we could see what's going on. We know that Janet was being, honest and doing the right thing. They can't, but still, I don't know. They have to know Janet well enough to know that why would she flip on Dan if she didn't have to? So there was no reason for her to flip on Dan if she didn't have to.
The only reason she did it was to keep the other tribe members, or not even tribe members, because now they're all against it, right? It's one for all and whatever. But she did that to try and keep more people happy. So because of this, do you think now in upcoming seasons, we're going to see people just not care if somebody's having some sort of social issue on the beach? Because they'd be like, maybe they're just trying to play me. I mean, we thought dead grandma was bad. He's sexually harassing me is like something way up there.
I had no problem with dead grandma, but it
was kind of ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it's again like that's just okay. That's him. That's between him and his grandma. But
that was the thing that somebody could do one time. No one was ever going to be able to do that again.
Yeah. So, but this one was just lines were crossed.
Yeah.
Don't forget also there was a season, and again, I'm not defending anything. I'm prefacing that, but there was a season John Rocker was on, and once they figured out he was John Rocker, they voted him off for absolutely nothing that had to do with the game, just with what he did in New York.
Yeah, that's true.
People are funny. B Fitz says, "We're going for a walk with this shovel." Yeah. Really common item to take when you go for a walk. I mean, come on. You and Cindy do that, right? You go for a walk.
I do it all the time because it scares her because she's wondering, all right, what are you doing with that shovel? Are you really going to go through with this time?
There's a construction site in the back. So you kind of get rid of the body easily too.
Yeah. They're building a pond out there. I mean, yeah.
I would have been more worried if just one of them came back.
Yeah.
But no, it was just one of those episodes where I got some heads up ahead of time that something was going to happen about this. So I knew something was going to go on, but I didn't expect this. Yeah. I didn't expect, and I would have, I'll be honest with you, I would have liked to seen where if they did have them all together talking, I would like to have seen how that played out. I mean, if producers were talking if they talked to them as a group, I would have liked to have seen how that played out because that would probably, if everyone denied it other than Kellee,
but I don't think anybody said anything. If they talk to them as a group, everyone's just going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm not saying
anything because again,
would have said it's Dan. They would just say probably just very generic. We're talking about personal space. Be mindful. Not. And And they're probably just
maybe that's why they didn't show us, because it wasn't.
Dan's probably doing something else. They're not talking about me.
Yeah, I can't believe we're still talking about this.
Oh, you're not going to put this away, are you, Jeff?
Well, he said it twice. That's where Dan. If Dan had, if he did have a conscience, and he knows what he did, and he knows he's probably been. Like I said, this is not. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but this is not the first time this situation has come up.
Old enough. Didn't he say he was married 23 years?
21 years, I think he said he's married.
Old enough.
Whatever it was. So this situation has probably come up before, because he is a touchy-feely person. And obviously, I'm trying to figure out what I'm saying, but he wasn't shocked by what happened. So for him to go on, what he should have just said is like, I was wrong. I apologize. It will not happen again. If I did offend anybody, it's not my nature. I apologize. But
I will do better.
Yeah, but to try and put the blame on other people and try to come across as the victim, that's what was irritating me. Yeah. Dude, you're the aggressor. You're not the victim. Stop trying to play the victim role.
They just don't understand me.
And I mean, like I said, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. There's just times where, you go, okay, I try to give people the benefit of that. There's no doubt here. I saw it. And we've been talking about it from day one, how he's touchy-feely. And it's
if he doesn't walk away from seeing this edit and not realize, hey, I was wrong. And I'm not just saying give me your standard apology to shift tribal council off of you. He better open up his eyes and realize that he's wrong, and he better see where else he's doing it in his life.
Yeah. Well, even when Kellee got voted out, he goes, "Yeah, put that torch down."
Yeah.
I said, that's an angry guy.
Wow. Yeah.
So there was. I mean, again, he is. Why am I being? Because other people don't mind if I massage their back. Well, that's different. If someone's saying, "Go ahead and massage my back," that's on them.
Every person has a different level of physical contact comfort.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So what Kellee feels comfortable with isn't the same as what Janet would feel comfortable with, or Arron or Jamal. Everyone's different. And so if he can't read people and he's just blanketing, and some people, Elizabeth's like, "Oh, I didn't mind it." You liar. Yeah. You just have to, the other thing I was thinking, when we say this in Big Brother about how they're together 24/7 and they get kind of really close because they spend all this time together. Do you think maybe he's feeling some of that? Like he thinks that they're closer. Is he treating them like some sort of surrogate family, like he would with his wife and kids, because he just feels so? I don't know.
He did it from day one, so I don't know.
Right. No, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, that's what. I mean, I could see if it was like day 18. He goes, "Oh, you're like my daughter. You're like, I miss my daughter." Yeah. I can see there's somewhere along the line, but when someone flat out tells you, "Stop touching me, I don't feel comfortable with it," you have to stop, and he didn't. And that's why I say we're CBS. I know JP made a good point about being sued, and again, it comes to a point where I blame the producers by saying, okay, this he was told to stop. He didn't stop. We see it. We're editing. We see the camera. He's got to be removed from the game, and let him sue.
I wonder with production, being behind the scenes, if they see something like that going on, are they able to even involve themselves until somebody from the cast
asks,
says something?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if someone punches, if you're JP and I are in the game and I punch him, I'm out.
Altercation, something like that.
I don't see the difference.
I know. I'm putting my foot in my mouth.
No, I'm just saying we don't know what so obviously this is. Since it's never really, other than Richard Hatch and Sue, and Sue quit, didn't she? Didn't Sue quit on that? She quit. That should have been a red flag, especially now with the Me Too movement being so strong and powerful the last couple of years. They should have said, okay, we need to, and I know this was probably filmed a year ago, but they still should have said, okay, we need to start being careful with this touching stuff, and people, it's gonna happen where people don't want to be in that situation.
Who was it at Tribal that said something regarding Dan, saying that they were taught these people, they were saying things about him and it was going to ruin his life? Was that Arron that said that?
Might have been Arron, yeah.
And I thought to myself, really, dude? Because all of America is seeing what Dan is actually doing. They don't have to say a word. We're seeing it. If Dan's ruining his own life, the touching and stuff is one thing, but when he was laying in the shelter and threw his leg up over somebody,
it was Elizabeth, I think.
Dude, that was nuts. That was beyond just like a hey, oh, let me get through here, or ooh, you're tense. I mean,
B Fit says, funny how Dan's only touchy feely with the cute young women. Because Janet said he'd never touched her. And not to pick on Janet, but I'm just saying he never.
But isn't that interesting?
That's a great point.
That is the most amazing point.
He wasn't spooning with Jamal, and I'm not trying to be funny.
No.
If what he's doing is okay, then
why not get Jack over there? He would have been good to cuddle with.
Right.
Oh, they're the Jack, right?
Yeah.
Because I would have punched him. I'd have been out of the game. I would have punched him. But there were so many things wrong, like I said, with this. Like when Arron, I think it was Arron saying that, and I get, if we had no video evidence, then you go, okay, it's he said, she said, that whole argument going on. But again, we saw it.
And we had numerous, every single episode, there was some extra layer to this story. It was an arc that started day one, and it's continued to go. And they make sure we always see it. And we see lots of ladies talking about it. It's not just one girl. It's not a he said, he said. It was he and she and she and she and she. And she,
And they left it in there for a reason, because they knew that it was going to come to a head. They knew it. So they couldn't edit it out. They left it in there so we would know, okay, Dan's a creeper. Dan has crossed the line. So maybe they didn't throw him out because they're thinking, for ratings, but I think at some point they need to be Janet. The producers need to be Janet. Okay, Janet blew up her game for doing the right thing. I think CBS should have done the right thing. Said, okay, look, it's not worth it. We need, because if you looked on Social Network, it was 99%. This was uncomfortable. I stopped watching. I couldn't do it. I
was like,
there was no positive stuff. I mean, I did have some guy on Twitter today. Somebody said something, and I said something else, and he said to someone else, he goes, "Well, she should have kept telling him." And the person said, "What are you talking about? She did," because first he defended, and I think I said something, and then the other person said, I don't even know who it was, because we're not following each other. But it's like, then the guy kept saying, I go, is he just being a dick? Is he just being a troll? At this point, I go,
okay, maybe
when you tell someone enough, no means no.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you look at a normal situation in the normal world, and you're interacting with this person. Can't use workplace because there's some power dynamics there, but in a normal, like, they're just in your friend circle, friend group, okay? You wouldn't expect them to have to tell more than once. And they would probably stop. In this situation, there is a power dynamic, because nobody wants to rock the boat to make themselves look like a target. So if you are complaining about this one player, this one guy, and nobody else is complaining, now you look like the problem, and people will vote you out. There's some, I think they would have said more if it wasn't this game, because you start to feel a little bit intimidated. Like, how much is too far? I'm not trying to blow my game up here, but this is kind of bothering me, but I don't know if I can complain. And how many people are on his alliance? Who's his friends? And
right, and you could see that when Kellee was talking to the producer and she started crying, it just got to the point where she didn't feel comfortable anymore. He's touching her hair, he's rubbing her face. I mean, it's just that's like
going to find her idol.
That was the part that bothered me, though, was when he touched her hair, and she said, I told you not to touch me, and he defended his action with the, I didn't get your hair dirty, or
whatever. No, he said I wanted to see if there was any sand in there.
Rose said once more than enough, and I assume once is more than enough times to say stop. Yeah. You're right, absolutely.
I can't. Like I said, the people that are defending him, the people, and these are people that watch the same show we did.
Right.
And it's like I said, luckily it's a small percent that I've seen on Twitter. It's a real small percent. But
let's be honest, in the Me Too movement, there are some people who believe that the Me Too movement is crap. They don't think it's a thing. They don't think what's the big deal? There are those people in the world. They just don't see it. So of course there's going to be people when they're watching the show to see it from a different perspective than.
But do you want? I mean, most people don't want to be touched. If most people, we all have our personal space, right? We all have our space where, okay, I have a bubble here. I don't mind certain, but I don't want you rubbing me. And there's just certain things I don't want you to do. And I get it. So I don't do it. That's just the way I live my life. Not that I'm far from perfect. I have made numerous mistakes in my life, but I try and live by that golden rule. And again, my mom she'd fly out here from San Diego and beat my ass if I did something like that. If I was on that show and I was Dan, my mom would be waiting at the airport and she would kick my ass.
Yeah.
And she what, 78 years old, whatever she is. And I would cower in the corner as she's beating me up because I know she was right. So anyway.
So as a fun idea here, so I was thinking about this. So this all was able to roll the way it did because Kellee did not play either idol.
Yeah, God.
So Kellee plays her idol. Let's play this. Kellee plays her idol. Obviously Dan goes home, right? He was next votes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. They go back to camp. Janet's not pissed off. She doesn't have to cry. She doesn't have to feel like people hate her. She doesn't feel like she has to quit the game.
Right.
And how much different could this have gone if for that one thing?
Yeah. And Kellee, as smart as she is,
so smart.
as she thinks everything out. Again, you have
I got an idea.
Yeah, she had that great plan last week. Oh.
And again, I see why she didn't want to play with Nora because Nora threw under the bus right away when they came back. Nora goes, "Yeah, well, it was Kellee, Kellee, and Kellee tried to fix it, but at that point, she just came out and said, "Yeah, it was me, but this is why I did it because
you guys, we were not beating Jack, and explain he's too likable." Oh, okay.
Oh, you don't know how old your mother is. I wonder if that's my mom.
That is your mom, Jack.
Is it?
Oh.
All right, she's 79.
Well,
how old am I? Oh, she's 70. I think she's 76.
Oh, wow.
She's 19 years older than me, and I forget how old I am. I'm sorry, I'm old. I forget.
You know what? I forget also.
Okay. It's Beverly. Okay, got it now. Okay, Mom, I see it. But she did, as you noticed, she didn't deny that she would kick my ass when I got back.
She didn't.
She didn't. I didn't know that was my mom.
How does that?
Oh, okay.
Anyway. What? Wait. How do we get that off the screen? Whatever.
I don't know. I don't know how this happened. This is. I don't want to stop the recording.
No, we're good.
Anyway, so there we go. Okay, I figured it out. I learned something new, but anyway.
So every episode this season so far has been near perfect. We've loved every single episode. And you know what? I'm kind of glad that they took these two bummer episodes and stuck them together like this because I'm glad they didn't drag this out 2 weeks in a row. Just get it over with.
Maybe that's why they had 2 episodes.
Just get it over with.
Do it this way.
And Jamal, I didn't see that. Did you guys see that? Is that who you thought? I mean, did you think it was going to be that he was going to get votes?
I thought he was
going
to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, did you?
when Janet played her idol, I said, okay, it's Jamal. Jamal's going to go home.
Right.
I really thought it was going to be Janet. So when she played
and after Jamal made the great speech.
He did again.
He said the right thing, and Arron over there saying all the wrong things. So.
Oh, and we can also say that for the first jury tribal, Rob and Sandra did not come out of their little spy shack. So
no.
Maybe they're going to spring it on them at the end.
Yeah.
I thought this would be the time, maybe, but no.
Well, Ruth said, I wonder if this is going to taint the rest of the season. I think it depends on who wins, because you have people who love Missy are really angry at her right now.
Oh, I'm super angry at her.
Elizabeth, I don't think anyone was really on her side. Arron, I mean, he came out and apologized again. I don't think he could win, and people be if Dan wins. Oh my God, I think that might be the end of Survivor. I think the producers after this were probably throwing idols at everybody other than Dan.
I'm most disappointed in Elizabeth and Missy because they knew exactly what they were doing, and listen. Women don't do that. You don't do that to another woman. You don't gaslight them like that. Like they're the ones that did something wrong when they were looking after you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that really upset me. And at this point, I guess we're all in for Elaine, right? She's like the only redeeming person left there.
Well, she said she was with Dan though too.
But she was so quiet, boy. She just stayed back. She didn't.
But she did say she was staying loyal to Dan.
She said she was fine with Dan, yeah. But again, Dan wasn't trying to touch her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he probably would get punched in the face.
She would destroy him. She would destroy him. We have Nora.
Elaine. I like Elaine over Elaine. Don't you?
I love Elaine. I love Elaine, but
your mom 100% agrees.
Well, this was,
everything I said, everything.
Obviously, with everything that's been going on in these 2 episodes, prior to that, we've almost been spoiled by Elaine and her bubbly personality, but you really just couldn't sprinkle that into these 2 episodes.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah.
And I put the thing out there for the chat. I should have said there's an age restriction. Anybody over 60 can't be in the chat.
No, you can't do that.
I should have said that, but yeah, I wasn't thinking. Next week we'll do that. I'll say there's an age restriction.
Careful. It won't be too long before you're there.
That's true. 3 years away. Less than 3 years away. Well, she's. I'll only get 70. I got some time for that. I probably won't be doing this at 70. Survivor might not even be on at 70, but
don't worry.
Jeff will be out there in his wheelchair.
Yeah, little scooter, little rascal. Now, if I knew that was my mom, I would have, because I used to send her years ago. I sent her things for getting rascals, those little scooter things, and she was getting them in the mail, all this different stuff.
That's horrible.
I thought it was funny. My sister actually called me out on it. She goes, "Why do I keep getting this?" She goes, "You know who's doing it." So I got called out. But anyway, other than that, anything in this episode that was any of the 2 parts that, other than her not playing her 2 idols?
Oh gosh,
I'm glad Janet got one. I asked yesterday. I said, "Do you think the producers kind of made it easy for Janet to get an idol?"
Was it her that said she saw something blue over there?
No, that was Kellee.
That was Kellee.
No, the entire night when Janet was just sitting on the beach, the producers probably just walked right by her, didn't see her, and just put it in the tree right next to her.
They drug a stick behind them to draw a line to where they were going to go hide it.
I still think there's too many idols in play. I still think that I just wish they would stop with so many idols. At a certain point, I think the idols should only be allowed to use till the merge or something like that. I think at some point you got to let the players play. I'm old school, so as far as that, I'm old school, and I like when the players play. And when 15 people have an idol, it just, to me, it ruins the game. But that's
I don't mind them, but I think they need to hide them a little better. I like it when they make them work for it a little bit.
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't mind that.
When they had Elaine's in the challenge, like stuff like that, I think you got to really, you're not guaranteed to find it. It's there, but maybe you can't get it.
Right. Yeah, and I felt bad for Jamal, because who's not going to pull the it says this will change your life or change your game or something like that. I thought that was crappy.
I did too. And Karishma was like, "I almost got it." And we're like, "God, Karishma, why didn't you get it?"
Exactly. And you think she's watching at home going, "Woo."
I do wonder, though, if he didn't pull it. Let's say him and Karishma walked past it and looked at it and didn't pull it. Would one of them still have gotten a trip to Island of Idols and been given an immunity for ignoring the
You think they were hoping Karishma would take it?
But why them? It could be anybody that walked by, only because they saw it.
No, I'm just saying, we don't know when they put it up.
They have it on like a boom mic. They're like following around with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, wait, Christmas coming over here. But I thought it was crappy, and then he's writing the thing, and it was obviously because when Dean goes, I can't even read this writing.
That was horrible.
I would have said, look, there's nothing I can do that's going to be. There's nothing I'm going to do because actually as bad as everybody is, they're pretty. Because Nora even said, who was at that time aligned with Jamal said, oh, it's got to be fake. I mean, Nora, she comes across as crazy, but she's actually pretty smart.
So he gives that to Dean. Did he give that as a peace offering, do you think, or he totally did that to put a target on Dean? He
was trying to paint the target on Dean. He knew Dean was on the bottom, but it to me, it was just.
I think what they should have done is they said, Rob said it's a blank piece of paper, it's a pencil, you can do whatever you want with it. I think Jamal should have just wrote his own check for $1 million right there. Left the show, gone to the nearest Chase Bank on Fiji and tried to cash it, and then realized he couldn't.
Couldn't he have wrote this as a hidden immunity idol and made a fake idol?
But whatever he made it was going to be fake, no matter what.
Yeah, but people don't know it. If he comes back with a fake idol, comes back with some shells and something like this, said, yeah, I won an idol. And here's the note saying I won the idol. Wouldn't that have been better than trying to throw the? I mean, I'm trying to think what would have worked. What he was trying to do wasn't going to work.
It should have been like a clue to a fake hidden immunity idol, and then somewhere.
Yeah, she got them out running all over looking for it. Meanwhile, there's nothing really there.
Right.
That, or he could have said it's a fake idol, but he could have made a fake idol. Said I'm not allowed to use it. I'm going to give it to Dean for goodwill. Yeah. And then that would put more of a target on Dean's back than him getting whatever. I thought Jamal got screwed on that deal. I mean, I know it's part of the game and things are changing up.
It was weird. They need to tweak that. That was weird. The second you touched it, you lost your vote.
You know what they should? You know what they should do is if you want to have the idols where people can go find them, then you have those where people can lose their vote if they find it. I found an idol. Oh no, I lost my vote. That would be okay. Do I go look for an idol? Mm-hmm. I could get one of those. I lose a vote.
That's actually great. Yeah.
I would be okay with that.
Right? Risk reward kind of thing.
Yeah. And up front going, oh crap, those are out there. Yeah, those are out there. So if you maybe found an idol, maybe you didn't find an idol.
Jack, that's a great chance. That is such a great idea. If I was your mom, I'd be very proud of you right now.
Oh, she doesn't care. Anyway, yes, we had that.
Because I was talking with my sister about it today. We were wondering how this works. So Kellee had the two idols. She got both of those post-merge? No, only one.
She got what?
The two idols that she had, was one of those from pre-merge?
One was pre-merge.
And then she said
from the other beach, right?
Yeah. Then she said they always have an idol. So she went after the merge.
The merge, yep.
So my question was, now that those are gone, do both go back and play or just one? Because they're merged on one beach.
One.
Weird. It's just one, right?
That's what I'm thinking, because the other one was the pre-merge.
So then that's just dead.
Yeah.
That doesn't go back out. That's
a collector's item.
Yeah. So now Janet used it, which means it's out there again.
Right.
Now, is Janet going to scurry out to try and find it again?
I think she should.
I think she should as well. She needs to do it.
Unfortunately, she needs to do it. Stay in the game. She's on the bottom, and I don't know why Karishma's getting votes. I mean, I don't know why she can't win. Why would you vote her out?
We're getting really close because they took out two Lyro they were both Lyro, right? Original Lyro.
So yes.
Yeah. So they're going to get really close to where Vokai's going to have to start turning on each other. And I'm sorry, if they don't take Arron and Missy out first, they're dumb. Because those two are going to keep winning in immunities.
Now, do you think if Janet somehow survives and gets to final three, is there any way she loses? because you're going to have, what's going to happen is they're going to go, the people that are on Ponderosa are going to talk. You saw how, if you haven't seen Ponderosa, Kellee comes up right away and tells Jack, yeah, it was me. I orchestrated you getting out of the game. And they kind of laughed about it. And he said, I liked the way she came. She didn't, him and she just flat out, because we like each other. It was part of the game. No big deal. They're going to get together and talk.
Right.
And I have to think that, that Kellee's is like, yeah, that really happened. If Dan is still in the game, obviously that would kind of screw things up. If he went to Ponderosa, it would kind of make things awkward. But I have to think that if Janet made it that far, no, Janet was telling the truth. Janet wasn't playing a game. I would have to think that people that got voted out would think, okay, yeah, I made a mistake. I'm going to give her the $1 million.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I would hope so.
Do they? I've never watched Ponderosa, but when you watch those videos, do they kind of hint at all towards who they're considering to win?
No, because they
don't talk game.
They talk game. They'll say, "Oh, this person lied," but I don't think they show. They don't. I'm sure they talk about it, but they don't show us.
Okay.
They'll say, "Oh yeah, I was part. Yeah, I'm the one that blew your game. Yeah, she blew up. Yeah, she lied to you. They'll do that. They show us that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually pretty fascinating.
As it was getting close to the tribal where they get to ask their questions, that final tribal, they used to show, they don't anymore, but they used to show them kind of like talking about who they thought it was going to be, but in a very like, not very specifically, but like saying like, oh, this person really does not like so-and-so. There's no way they're voting for them. Kind of little hints like that. Maybe not who they were voting for, but how they were reading others. You kind of sometimes got that, but they don't really do that anymore. They could do so much more.
Yeah.
So how much time do you think that tonight's or last night's show is going to get in the reunion show? 5 minutes?
I don't think anything, because there's not going to be. They'll probably only have like 15-minute reunion.
You don't think that they're going to let?
I don't even know. Well, they'll have a little something, but could Dan not be there? Could the outcry be so? Because again, I guess it depends on how the show ends. Because can this season be saved? Can it be saved? Can people forget what happened? I don't think you can forget what happened as long as Dan's in the game. Every week we're gonna be like, how's that guy still in the game? How's that guy still in the game? He should be gone.
If this also triggers like somebody out in the real world bringing up some sort of allegations against Dan, I think that's where you're going to definitely not see him at the final.
I mean, they didn't have the one guy. Was it last season or the season before where he posted something on Instagram or Twitter with him and where they were together before it aired or something like that, and he wasn't allowed to come to the finale.
In those 15 minutes, I didn't see him.
No. My mom says Ponderosa is all about eating hamburgers, looking in the mirror, and going to the air-conditioned room. Well, the hamburgers look good.
She's not wrong. They get there, they instantly. It's like when you have a baby. You're all about the pain, all about the second the baby comes out. You're like, I'm good. All right, let me have some lunch. This is how this is. They're like, I want to play. I don't want to go home. They get there. They're like, food. Okay, we're gonna do this. We got some air conditioning.
Okay. I thought Kellee was remarkably in good spirits, because I would have been like, I'm so ticked at myself.
What are you gonna do? They're probably in shock, don't you think? Still, like it hasn't sink in.
She just said it. Yeah, I made a mistake. I mean, there's some people that just, oh well. I mean, James to this day is still upset that he didn't play his two idols. the ice cream guy. I can never remember his name. Michael, is it Michael? Eric. I can never remember his name. I always call him ice cream guy.
He got probably girls.
But still, it was a huge mistake. But anyway, anything else that you guys want to talk about? Do you have a player of the game?
Oh, do you have MVPs?
Yeah, I think we should do MVPs.
Janet, hands down.
Of course.
Janet.
Yeah, I gotta go Janet.
It's Janet. She wins.
She wins. I mean, she's number one. She's still in the game, but she did the right thing. In a game with no rules, again, I've always said it's a game with no rules, but again, there is a certain there's that line. And like I said, hopefully the people are coming out and apologizing today mean it, and they're learning something from it. But again, your actions speak. It's the old saying: your actions speak louder than your words. So we'll see. And my mom, who can't shut up on this chat thing, says Dan has a private Twitter account and has been silent.
Dang, your mom's stalking everyone trying to get the scoop. I get it.
She's one of those old stalker people,
That's great. I love it.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Yeah, Janet really showed strength of character. So no matter how she goes out this game, she's a winner.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm so glad she didn't quit, because I almost thought she was, because there wasn't a lot of time left.
Yeah.
Between the vote, I'm like, because I looked at the time, I go, oh, there's only like 5 minutes left. I go, oh, don't quit, Janet. Don't quit, Janet. Don't give him the satisfaction of quitting, Janet. Don't do it. So she listened to me. She heard me.
When Dan was like, there was that moment where it looked like Dan maybe was going to quit too, and Jeff's like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? I know what you're going to say, Jeff. What am I going to say?
Yeah.
That dude was not very super nice with him.
No. Oh, he should.
That'd have been all right.
Well, we didn't talk about it too, but I know it's against the rules, but I thought Kellee should have been allowed to speak. I don't think it would have affected the game at all.
I was kind of anticipating that might happen. Like, I was waiting for Jeff to even comment, like making it a survivor first.
There was a moment there where it kind of seemed like,
kind
of over, like he was gonna. But yeah.
I really thought, cause I know he released a statement with, was it EW or Hollywood Reporter? I think it was Josh Wigler, and he said, "Well, to keep the integrity, we talked about it, but to keep the integrity of the game, we decided not to do it." And I go.
What if she said something? What if she said something that gives somebody something that then helps them?
Yeah, I guess. I just at that point, she's sitting there and she's ready to explode. And I don't know if you saw when I think it was when Nora walked by, she just gave Nora the look to kill.
Yeah.
I think she blames Nora for blowing up her game with it. What Nora said put a target on Kelly's back. Again, but Kellee being voted out, she had 2 idols.
Right.
So you really can't blame Nora. You knew who Nora was. So when you thought about your plan, you should have said, all right, do I really want to include Nora in this, because this eventually could come back to bite me? Right. It's like aligning yourself with Debbie. That's a mistake. There's just certain people you shouldn't align yourself with, because
it would be great if one season they brought back all the people who are erratic players, wouldn't that?
Yeah.
25 jacks and everybody. Oh, that might be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Come on,
I don't know.
Let's do that. Get back Philip Shepard.
Yeah. Well, just have Debbie and Philip Shepard on the same tribe. They can compare jobs.
It'll be like whoever made it out alive is the winner.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 12 episodes of them just comparing jobs, and then
battle stars. I got this one right here.
Yeah. I was in Cambodia, or undercover with the CIA, and I was undercover with the CIA. But yeah, again, hopefully next week we get back on track, and I'm hoping Dan gets voted out as soon as possible, because I think the longer he's in the game, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the because this season was a lot of fun to talk about, because there was a lot of strategy going on, and it just got derailed by a guy that is probably been doing this forever and's gotten away with it.
I think they're going to keep going after Lyra. I think they're going to go Janet. Jen's on their radar. They'll take her next, I think, if they can.
Yeah. Hopefully she gets an idol.
Because they're what now? What are they now? 4-7?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're going to keep picking them off. That's my feeling. And then, you know what? And then they have to turn on each other. And then where are they going to be?
Another question. If Dan gets voted off next week, do they allow him to go to Ponderosa?
Does he get his own Ponderosa?
Yeah, does he do that? I mean, at this point, obviously it's already happened, but to let him go back to, I would think you're just compounding the mistake.
Yeah.
I think at the very least, production is going to sit down and have a long talk with both sides to see what they're comfortable with. Especially the emphasis on Kellee, and they might very well. But then again, if if conversations at Ponderosa are what leads to the jury making their decision, you can't sequester him.
You mean off on his own? He have to be all together.
Well, he's going to he would be going to the tribal councils. He just would be going by himself, not with the group.
I still think the argument's there for people to say that by him not being there, it changed some dynamic behind the scenes with the jury that maybe someone else could have won.
Yeah, I think moving forward, though, there's going to probably be a lot of big rules behind the scenes that are changing. On the wonderful island of Survivor.
I would hope so. And then my mom said, "Great podcast, guys." And Hank, call your mother. Unfortunately, once I hang up we stop the show. I'm no longer Hank. So unfortunately, Hank can't call you because Hank doesn't exist once I hit into broadcast.
I'm going to try that excuse on my mother tomorrow.
I call her like every couple. Cindy's like, "Oh, did you call your mom?" I go, "Didn't I just talk to her?"
Well, you just talked to her tonight. She was very helpful here in the chat.
Because it's late. It's late tonight. It's already 11 o'clock here at my time. She's in the West Coast.
It's early for her yet.
She texts me. I text her back. I mean, it's
the night to enjoy her evening. What are you talking about?
She'll text me like 2 a.m.
Oh wow!
How's your weather?
Right now it's dark.
It's dark and it's cold. Anyway,
so really quick before we end, are we ending or?
Well, I got nothing else to say. I got to end before my mom guilts me to any more things.
So I just wanted to maybe end on a high note and talk about really quickly my Friday night last week.
Oh yeah, talk about your experience.
I know. So some of our fans might also be Big Brother fans. I went to an event in New York City.
I know my mom is.
Excellent. Oh, well, when you call her, you can talk to her about this. So I went to a Big Brother event in New York City. I had the pleasure of meeting Tommy, Christy.
Was Tommy as hyper as he is on the show?
Very, very hyper. There were many moments.
Did you bring Christy some Kleenex?
No.
Okay. Did she cry at all?
Fake cried, yes.
Okay, all right.
But
that's her shtick now, right?
I'm sorry?
I said that's totally her shtick now, right?
I think it is, yeah.
I mean, you own it. Why not? What are you gonna do?
But the highlight, of course, was I got to meet Nicole. I got a hug from Nicole. I asked if it was okay when I went up to her. I said, "Nicole, can I please give you a hug?"
Or anything in the future here? A JP Nicole future going on?
Is she from New Jersey too?
She's from New York. I think she's
New York.
from Island.
Same place, same thing, right?
Right.
Same location.
I think the odds are 1,000,000 to 1, so there is a chance.
There is a chance. Good.
And then as the night progressed, these 2 random people walked in, and we had no idea who they were because they were decked out in wigs and makeup, and it turned out to be Kat and Jessica.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't. In your picture, I didn't recognize them.
I didn't recognize them at all.
Kat's a brunette now. She's dyed her hair.
Well, it was a wig.
Oh, it was just a wig. Okay. Because I was looking at her and I'm like, boy, she looks familiar. Who is it? And I couldn't. And then it finally dawned on me. Yeah.
It was just
you had to tell me. I didn't know who it was.
I didn't know who it was either. But what was happening was, I mean, the 4 of them, Nicole, Nick, Tommy, and Christy, were all along one wall taking pictures with everybody. And then these 2 people who were waiting in line just jump up there for the picture. Tommy, oh my God, just yells. And I see everybody start taking out their phones and taking pictures. And I'm like, what's going on? And then finally, we all started putting it together that it was Jessica and Kat. And Jessica looks fantastic. She's definitely slimmed down quite a bit. She looks great.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ask her about that one plate where she falls off and
Yeah,
so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
The point where I could get close to Jessica was at the very end of the night, and they were like really trying to push people out, and somebody was just completely hogging the conversation with Jessica, and I felt so bad. I just went the picture that I took with her. I literally interrupted her and said, "Jessica, just a quick picture, please." But
well, who was hogging the conversation?
I was just one of the fans.
Oh, okay.
Crazy fan.
One of those super fans.
Well, it looks like you had a great time.
I had a great time. There's another one coming up in about 6 weeks in Central Jersey with just Tommy and Christy. So I'm going to go to.
All those that you got to see on Friday night, did any of them act any differently than how you expected them to act, like what we saw?
Absolutely not. They were. They did a Q&A, and they told some stories that were really funny. On a big screen, they were showing highlights of each person's season as they were being introduced. And I mean, I have a video clip of it on my phone of Nicole just, continuing that attitude, just be who you are. Right. The littlest person is going to prevail. And everything that she projected all season was truly how she was. I mean, there was, even after the event, just seeing her interact with people, it was definitely not an act. Her parents were there. Her two sisters were there. I was right at the door when they were leaving, and Nicole was like trying to get the line to move, and she was just, nobody was watching at that point, and she was still Nicole.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I think because from my first season watching it, it's almost like Survivor. It's hard to, when you've got cameras on you 24/7, it's hard to be someone different than you're not.
Right.
True. But I wondered if now that they're out of the house and they've seen the whole thing and then they've gotten the attention, does that change them at all? Do they act any different than they did in the house? So I'm glad to see that no, they're still them, because you can't let that go in your head.
Nicole actually told one quick story. It was really, really funny, where she was, I think she still lives at home, or she was at her mom's. And she said, like, a couple of days ago, while she was in the shower, her mom came over to talk to her. And Nicole just instinctively started whispering because she thought her mom wanted to talk to her.
I'm not going to try to be in the bathroom. Okay, we're your dad out, okay? Gotta go.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was great. Great.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. That's good.
Such a highlight. Such a great time.
Well, I'd like to thank the people in the chat. Ro, thanks for being there. I can't think of anybody else who was in the chat, but thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. We're going to be back next week. Hopefully it'll be on a more positive note, more strategy.
It will. We're going to bounce back.
Yeah, I'm from Strong Island too. All right. My mom doesn't drink, but I think she's drinking now.
That's what they have, a Strong Island iced tea.
I get. I don't think she's had anything to drink in like 30, 40 years. But anyway, thanks, Mom, for being here. That was great. But no, if you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to us. Share it. Tell a friend. We'll be back. We're here every Thursday night. We do it live, and it's a lot of fun. And that's all I got. Anything else, guys?
No, that's it.
Good night.
All right. Bye.
Good night. See you next week.